Leslie Lucas. I'm starting to feel like I know Janelle, at least a little, and Lupe and Gloria and Raynard. Before Open Mic Fridays, I hardly knew anybody in this school at all. Big surprise. What could I possibly have in common with these kids? I must have asked myself that question a million times a day when I moved here. I'm white. They're black and Hispanic. I grew up in Westchester County. They grew up in New York City. I like Sheryl Crow. They like Lauryn Hill, except for Raynard and Devin, who are into jazz. It's like we come from two different planets. But hey, it's not my fault. I didn't choose to be here. If it weren't for Mom up and dying on me, I'd still be back in Ossining with my friends. I miss my friends. That's mostly why I hated moving here. I knew I wouldn't have anybody to talk to when it hurts, and it hurts all the time. Missing Mom, I mean. I was full up with loneliness for her for a few weeks ago. It was one of those moments that come from out of nowhere, when you all of a sudden feel something and reach inside your chest, grab your heart, and squeeze till you could hardly breathe. I was in the girls' locker room at the time, and for a minute I wheeled around like Uncle Donnie does when he's drunk. That's when I bumped into Portia Johnson. Portia Johnson has a reputation for being a little touched in the head. In freshman year, she'd beaten the snot out of a girl who'd pushed her too far. They say it took 4 people to pull her off of the other girl. Everybody had pretty much steered clear of her since then. This is who I bump into. "Hey, watch it," she said. "Sorry," I told her. "You got that right. Why don't you sorry yourself on out of here?" Usually this would be the cue for me to make myself invisible, but I was hurting too bad, and I was not in the mood. I flung my locker door open and spoke between my teeth. I said I was sorry. Now why don't you just leave me alone? Leave you alone? Look, if you wanted to be left alone, why the hell did you invade my space? By space, I thought she meant neighborhood. That's when I felt my head spin off. My mom died, all right? And I was sent to live with my grandmother who lives in this neighborhood, and I had no choice. Not that it's any of your business. The split second those last words flew out, I wanted to take them back, but I couldn't. I swallowed hard and waited for Portia to shove me against the lockers or to punch me in the stomach or to whip out a knife like I'd seen kids do on TV. Instead, she stepped back, lowered herself to the bench, and said, "Sorry about your mom. My mom died too." Turns out we both live with our grandmothers. For a long time, she put off telling me what her mom died from. My mom died of cancer, which is no big secret, but hers died from a drug overdose. Portia thought that would make a difference, but when I found out, I told her it made no difference at all. Dead is dead, and lonely is lonely, and they both stink. All that matters, I told her, is that we're friends, and we are. I'm lucky. I was on my way to being like Amy Moskowitz, the one girl in class almost nobody knows anything about. She cuts herself off, hardly ever speaks or lets anyone in. She seems to be happy by herself, but I need to hear somebody's voice besides my own. I'm not as strong as she is, and now I don't have to pretend that I am. Open Mic Fridays help. We kind of have our own little clique now. The whole school knows who we are, that we're the poets. It's weird. For the first time in my life, I'm part of a group that's cool. Who would believe it? Last month, Mr. Ward gave our class an assignment to write a poem about what frightens us most in honor of Halloween. A year ago, I might have written about something silly like ghosts, which I don't even believe in. And even if I did, ghosts would not be at the top of my list. The scariest thing I can think of now is being all alone in the world. Open Mic, Common Ground by Leslie Lucas. On the dark side of the moon where death comes sooner than expected, at the edge of heartbreak, we both take a leap into the unknown. At the center of loneliness, we dip into a pool of tears and thrash around, desperate not to drown. We both reach out for a life preserver, something to hold on to, something sturdy, something new. That's when we see it, a buoy called friendship bobbing up between us. And we swim toward it for all we are worth, and we meet there somewhere in the middle. Tyrone: man, that little white girl be getting pretty deep. I figured her for something lame like roses are red, violets are blue. Glad I didn't have a bet on that action. More than half the class wanted to read today, but most of them were girls. I wish a few more of the brothers would step up to the mic. Even this thing out a little, know what I'm saying?